Let's see what Chris Pratt is like as the iconic cartoon cat Garfield. The Garfield movie was released in 2024 and was directed by Mark Dindal. It tells the story of Garfield, who has been found by John and begins to live alongside John and Odie, until one day Garfield is unexpectedly reunited with his biological father, and they must go on an adventure together. So me and Tig decided to go to the early screening of Garfield today, and when we finished watching the movie, my friend Tig, he felt the movie was pretty average. As for me, I actually thought it was interesting. Yes, I actually do have some good nostalgia for the Garfield franchise. I used to love the Garfield show that used to air on Boomerang over in Ireland and the UK. Used to love it. I used to think that was great. I even enjoyed the TV movies. I enjoyed Garfield's Fun Fest, but I used to love Garfield's Pet Force. I will have to review it actually someday, because I have the DVD of it somewhere, but I did really like that one as a kid. I really enjoyed the two live action ones from the 2000s. I have a lot of nostalgia for Garfield 2, Tale of Two Kitties. I used to think that was great. So yeah, I do have a lot of nostalgia for the Garfield brand. And I did love Odie. Odie was my favourite, although granted that's probably from a biased perspective because I do have a big soft spot for dogs. I am a huge dog lover. So, yes, the Garfield movie from 2024. How was it for me? I enjoyed it. But it was definitely a very different kind of Garfield. To me, this movie didn't really feel like Garfield to me. I felt the storyline at times, it was a bit bland. I'm not gonna lie, I did feel the first half of the movie was a bit bland, a little over the top with some of the vocal performances. I did feel that at times the storyline, there were parts where I was kind of going, why are we doing this? It was I don't know, the storyline, it wasn't really that good, the storyline to me. It was a bit bland in areas, and it was kind of hard for me to get invested and to, enjoy it. Now, don't get me wrong, there were some enjoyable parts, and I did enjoy the third act. The third act to me felt like Garfield. It had that fun Garfield charm to it, so I did really like the third act, and I did like the ending. And I did like a certain cameo at the ending that I am not going to spoil at all, because it was really cool, actually. I don't know what it was. The story, the direction, I don't know, it just didn't really grab me. It didn't engage me. So yeah, the storyline it wasn't all that impressive to me. It was odd. It was just a very odd story to me, if that makes sense. I don't know, I just didn't really get the storyline. I just felt the storyline was a bit off, bit kind of, I don't know, a bit weird to me. It just didn't really do much for me. The humour, though, really good. Now, some jokes did fall flat, but I did really like the jokes for the most part in the film. I did laugh quite a lot, and I do have to say I really enjoyed the humour. I think the film has a good sense of humour. There's also a lot of, this is probably just me, this could be just from a biased perspective, but a lot of scenes really did remind me of other movies, such as Chicken Little, Madagascar 3, Barnyard. I don't know, there was a lot of scenes, a lot of certain locations and settings where I was just reminded of other animated movies, so that was interesting. But yeah, the story, it was okay. It was fine. The animation is absolutely amazing. I think this film is very faithful to the Garfield source material. The designs on the animals especially. The designs on the humans are very good too. It really did feel like an animated Garfield come to life. So visually, this movie looks really good, and the animation is very alive. It's very cartoony, very expressive, and it helps that. It's just basically, it just feels like a cinematic Garfield movie in terms of the visuals. So the animation is it's excellent. The animation of the film is great. To me, though, the voice acting was a bit of a mixed bag. I thought most of the voice actors did a good job, and I think Samuel L. Jackson did an okay job as Victor. I felt Chris Pratt as Garfield just didn't work for me at all. He doesn't do a bad performance. He does a good enough vocal performance. I just couldn't see him as Garfield. I just kept hearing Chris Pratt. I just kept hearing, Peter Quill all the time, pretty much. I couldn't get into Chris Pratt's performance. I didn't think he suited the role. He didn't do a bad performance. He just didn't work for the character. He didn't have the Garfield charisma to him. The characters, they were interesting. Despite the strange performance, Garfield was still good enough and was very funny in the movie, and I did enjoy his relationship with John and Odie. And Odie, I have to say, he's my favourite character in the movie. Yeah, I know, this is probably coming from a biased perspective, because I do love dogs, but Odie is just such a good boy in this. He was great. Victor was good and was an interesting character in the film, and he was really funny. It was interesting seeing him interact with his son, and there was some interesting plot twists with his character that I actually didn't see coming at all, so I thought that was well done, so good on the writers for that. John was alright, but to me, he just felt extremely overprotective, and it just didn't really feel like John to me. But that could be just me, because to me, it just felt like I was watching a completely different character, if I was to be honest. At first, I did find Jinx to be a bit annoying and quite over the top, but as the film went on, she actually did get much more entertaining and funnier, and the voice performance for her was actually really good and really did fit her character. There is some other characters, and they're all good. There's just some characters I don't want to spoil. I feel you should definitely watch the movie yourself to, see more of the characters, because it does have an interesting cast of characters, to say the least. The music of the movie, really good. There's a lot of really good songs. The end credit song is really good. And yeah, there was just the film soundtrack was really good. So this film is definitely an interesting one, to say the least. It is definitely very entertaining and a lot of fun to watch. I don't know, it was weird to me in areas. It didn't really feel like Garfield to me. Although maybe I do need to watch some Garfield again, because it has been quite a good few years since I last sat through a piece of Garfield media. But yeah, I don't know. It was interesting. Definitely worth watching and definitely quite enjoyable, but I don't know. It just felt kind of different, if that makes sense. Overall, while despite having a bit of a bizarre story, the Garfield movie is still entertaining with some great animation, good characters, and some pretty good music. I may need to watch it again in the future to see if my thoughts do change, but for now, I think it is an enjoyable movie. I'm going to give the Garfield movie a 7 out of 10. So that's it for my review of the Garfield movie, and stay tuned for the next video. Until then, guys, thank you all so much for watching. Let me know what you guys thought of the Garfield movie below in the comments section. Thank you all for watching. Take care, everyone. Stay tuned, and skadoosh.